welcome or welcome back to Crafts by KMW. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and I hope you really enjoy it. If you do, please give it a thumbs up to like the video. It really makes a difference with the YouTube algorithms. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel to get access to all of my previous videos, as well as notification of when I post new ones like this one. I'd like to shout out to all of my current subscribers and say welcome to any new ones. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and I hope you are enjoying it. If you have any suggestions for a video that you would like me to make, please let me know in the comments. I try to accommodate all requests when I can. So let's get to the video. So this is another color along. Now that 2023 is rapidly starting to come to a close, we are already in the middle of September. I am feverishly trying to finish my challenges. So in January, I posted a coloring challenges video for 2023. You can check that out on the channel if you'd like to. And I only had completed about 5 of them, maybe 4 up until about June. So now I am really starting to focus on completing these challenges. So I finished a book, which was one of the challenges. That flip through is on the channel. It's Serenity by Anastasia Eli Caldereva. I have a full version where I talk through every page, and then I also have a silent version if you'd like to check that out. I did a 1 color challenge, which is this page from Millie Marotta's Wildlife Wonders. So I used blue, and I actually really enjoyed doing this page and coloring a page in 1 color. It was really fun, a lot more fun than I ever thought. So I'm sure I will be doing more pages with just 1 color because I really enjoyed it. And then today I have another color along to do another challenge, which is the circle challenge. So this is where you draw 1 or more circles on a page, and then you color in only what's inside of the circle. So as I was looking through, this page just popped up at me. I love it. It is adorable. I love the mandala. I love the little animal inside. I'm not sure if it's a mouse or some other type of small rodent, but I thought this page would be perfect for the bubble challenge. So as you can see, I already have my circle drawn, and I used this lid from a Vera Bradley ornament box. So I just put it down like this and just traced around the circle. Now I definitely want to do another page with this challenge where I do circles kind of all over the page, but I felt like this page really lends itself to 1 circle. So for the background, I'm also going to do something that I've never done before, but looks really gorgeous from the page that I saw posted on one of the Facebook pages. And I'm not sure who did it. I tried to go back and find the post, but I subscribe to a lot of Facebook groups for coloring, and I just could not find it. So after about 45 minutes, I gave up. But she did a Hannah Carlson page, and she colored the entire page with blues and a special technique that she used. And so she colored over the image and everything. And then she went back and outlined the image in gold. And it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I've been thinking about that ever since I saw it. And I thought, what a great page to try to do that. The image is not super intricate or difficult for me to outline, and I think it will look really pretty on this and make the bubble pop even more. I'm also going to make the bubble look 3D, so it looks as if there is like a glass or a plastic sort of half sphere sitting on top of the page. So my supplies for today, of course, I have my regular supplies, my pencil sharpener, eraser, all of that. So I am using my Brutfuner pencils. So I have the Brutfuner 520 set, which is in this carousel holder. So I have those. And then I have my gelatos, which I'm going to use for the background. So I am making this page in fall colors. So I chose fall colored gelatos. So I'm using Canary Diamond, which is a gold. I'm using Butterscotch Caramel. I'm using, I think this one is Blood Orange. And then this one is Chocolate. So those I'm using on the background. If you have never used gelatos before, they are a stick, kind of like a lipstick, and you rub them on the page, and then when you add water to them, they turn into like a watercolor, and they are so fun to work with. They're made by Faber-Castell. They come in a ton of colors. I think it's like 90 colors or something like that. I'm still working on trying to get all the colors. So they're really great, but you could use anything. You could use markers, pencils, watercolors, whatever, chalk pastels, whatever you would like to do on the background. And then I have my gold gel pens. So most of these are Jelly Roll, and then I have one Marie's. I actually am kind of getting down in my gold gel pens. So hopefully between those four, I'll have enough to do the entire image. And then I'm going to use a water brush when I get to the background with the gelatos. And I think that's all I will need. I also have some white gel pen that I'll be using at the end to help make the circle look 3D. So I am going to start by coloring the image. So I'm going to get my browns out. I have not pre-selected my colors for this page at all. So I am going to be selecting them as we go. I do have my swatch chart handy, so I can look at that if I need to. And I will show you all of the colors that I'm using. So I'm going to start with Raw Sienna. And I'm just going to give him an overall color of Raw Sienna. So I hope you're having a great day and a great week so far. I can't believe that it is September 19th, 2023 already. Summer just flew by, and now we are almost onto fall. I don't know what the weather is like where you live. It's still kind of warm here. I think we're in the 60s right now, but it will be tapering off, I'm sure, pretty soon. So now I'm going to take some darker colors and start adding some detail. So I'm going to use Brandy Brown to start off with. I really, really love this Brut Fooner set of 520. It is so many colors. I have not wanted for one color so far. Any color or shade that I have wanted, I have been able to find in this set. It's been absolutely amazing. So next I'm going to use Carafe. This is a darker brown. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you have definitely seen my cat Finn make an appearance, but he is soundly sleeping right now, which I'm very happy about. Because when he's sleeping, I don't have to worry about him destroying anything, so that's always a good thing. So now I'm going to add some Seal Brown, which is also a dark brown, actually getting a little bit darker. I'm just adding a little bit of this in different spots around. Now I'm taking Pumpkin Spice, which is a lighter brown again, and I'm going to go around the edges a little bit. This helps to help them look a little bit more round, more 3D. So it takes away the flatness. And now I'm just going to take a different one. This is Gold Flame. This has a little bit of reddish tone to it. And I'm going to come right in next to that previous color. Okay, now I am just looking for my blender. I want to blend a little bit. I probably have 40 blender pencils, is my guess. I stock up on them. Okay, this one needs to be sharpened, so I will be right back. I'm gonna sharpen my blender and then I will blend our little, I'm gonna call him a mouse. I'll blend our little mouse here. Okay, so now I'm just going to blend a little bit. I don't want to blend too much because I don't want to take away the strokiness of the fur, because I want it to look like fur, but I just want it to blend in a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of black. I'm using forged iron. I just want to add a little bit of darkness to these stripes. Not a lot, just a little bit. Kind of doing it in the center. Okay. And then I'm adding just a little bit to the edges, just to define them a little bit. I am really going lightly. You can barely see it. And now I'm taking a gray. This is actually a Prismacolor. I really like doing shadows with Prismacolors, so I'm using a 70% cool gray, and this is most likely the gray I will be using for any shadows that I put in. So now I'm just going to add some shadowing around his ears. And his leg. All right, I really like him. And now I'm just gonna grab a pink, actually a couple shades of pink. I'm gonna grab a darker one and a lighter one. So I'm using Apricot Wash and Tea Berry just for the inside of his ear. That area was so small, I really didn't care what what two colors I used. It really didn't matter. Okay. So now I think I'm gonna do this, and these I'm going to color as wheat. So I'm gonna pull out my yellows. So I'm gonna start with an all over light yellow, and this is called Goldfinch. I'm just doing one light layer. I am so excited to get to the background. I can't wait to do the background and see if it works. Because you're watching this video, it definitely worked, but right now I haven't done it yet, so there's a lot of anticipation there. So I'd love to know in the comments what you are working on. I am working on finishing my challenges, as I've already stated. I think I have 2 or 3 left to go. I'd have to look in my notebook and see for sure, but I think I have 2 or 3 left. And then I'm working on finishing 2 books. It was originally 1, but I've started working a lot more in another one. So one is Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. I don't know, I was just drawn to working in that book a lot more. So I'm doing that one. And that one I'm doing a lot of coloring the pages, or at least a large portion of the page, with markers, with water-based markers, and then going over everything with colored pencil to add dimension and all of that. So I'm doing that with a lot of pages in that book. I have a large set of Crayola super tip markers. Actually, it's almost 2 sets. And so I'm really trying to use them up. So I'm doing it that way. And then I'm coloring in The Beauty of Horror 6, Famous Monster Pieces, to finish that one. And I'm really hoping to finish that one by Halloween, because I want to put that up as a Halloween flip through for the season. So I'm working on those, on that stuff. So I'd love to know what you are working on. So now I'm going to take a darker color. This is Citrus. And I'm just going to add some darker color on the inside of each little leaf. Not sure if they're called leaves, petals. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. I had a sticky note on the page behind this, so it was starting to make some lines. I had to remove that. The page behind this one, which is this one, I want to do in Christmas colors. I thought that would be really cool. I really don't color too many pages in Christmassy colors, so I have that one pre-planned, and I have it written on a sticky to remind myself, and it was getting in my way. So I'd love to know if there are any books that you are interested in buying. I have, I want to say 5 or 6 coloring books right now in my Amazon cart. I have a couple Hannah Carlson. I'm working on finishing my collection of her books. I am pre-ordering her new book, Atlantis, which I'm really excited about. I love water images and making water. So many different things you can do. And so now I'm going with beeswax. And I have this gothic, I'm not sure if it's a Gothic Dolls book that I found, but that's a new release. So I found that and I want to get that one. I have Alan Roberts' new book that I'm going to be pre-ordering. That one is a best of book, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have most of his books, so I'll have seen most of the images already, but it'll be fun to be able to color them in different colorways and styles and try different things with some pages that I've already possibly colored, so I'm looking forward to that. So as you can see, I'm just kind of randomly adding color. I'm not being too precise with it. I want these to look pretty natural. So now I'm going to use a little bit of orange rust. So this is a dark color. I just want to add a little bit to various parts. I'm doing some like on the base, a little bit on the tips, just very random. And I can't remember if there's any other books that Kirby Roseanne's is coming out with a new one, but that's not till 2025, so that's not even available for pre-order yet, as far as I know. So I know I will get that one too. I think Millie Marotta has a new one too that I'm thinking of getting. I haven't added it to my cart yet though, but I probably will soon. So I'm gonna blend what I've done so far really lightly. I went a little outside the lines there. I'm gonna fix that in just a minute. If you don't have one of these electric erasers yet, I highly recommend it. They are so easy to use. They're kind of fun and they work really, really well. Mine is from Tihu. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. I got it on Amazon. It came with a ton of replacement nibs. I don't think I've even dug into them yet, and I use it a lot. The tips last a long time, so it is really a lifesaver. I still wind up using my regular erasers for large areas, but for small little areas, you just can't beat an electric one. Or I guess battery operated. I'm not sure if that's still electric, but... And you can find them relatively cheap. They are not that expensive. And that one is really good. I haven't had to replace the batteries a lot. I think I've replaced the battery. I've had that probably 3 years. And I think I've replaced the batteries maybe twice so far. So I think that's pretty good. It doesn't eat up the batteries. All right, so this is looking good. You can definitely see the different shades. All right, so now I'm gonna add, I have another darker color that I wanna add in. So this is Golden Glow. I would say this is a medium orange. And I'm just gonna add a little bit to the center again. Because I already blended, I'm not able to put a ton of color down, which is good. It limits me, so I don't put too much. Now, in case you're wondering, I am using oil-based pencils. Brett Funer's are oil-based. They do have a little bit of wax, but they have more oil. And I am using a wax-based blender, which is the Prismacolor. The Prismacolor blender just works really, really well on any type of pencil that you use it on. But the blender does leave wax on the paper, so it does make it a little bit harder to add more color. So you just have to be aware of that. Sometimes I don't blend until the end because I know I'm going to be adding a lot of colors. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. So right now I'm adding a little bit of a very light color. This is called Vanilla Custard, just to the tips. I'm just kind of coloring randomly on some of the tips to give them a little bit of a lighter color. Oh, Finn is up, so you may be seeing him in the next few minutes. He may make his appearance. Okay. And now I'm going to use a bright yellow. This is called Blazing Yellow. And just add a little bit of this color on some of the leaves. Petals, pods. Again, I'm not sure what they're called in wheat. This just gives a little bit more dimension and different color to the leaves. And it's nice because if you have any areas that maybe aren't colored the way you want or you kind of missed, you can add you can add that in. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave those alone now. I think I got them to where I like those. If I keep fiddling with them, I could add something that I don't like. All right, so I think what I want to do is I'm going to do these in oranges. Okay. So I'm gonna start with a nice light color. I'm gonna start with sun orange and just do an all over color of these little fan things. I'm really enjoying this page so far. I don't normally color in these colors. I tend to gravitate towards reds, pinks, purples. More of the lighter blues, lighter greens. So to use some colors that I don't typically use is really fun. If you're coloring along with me, I would love to see your finished page. You can join my Facebook group. It's a private group, and post it there. Or you can follow me on Instagram, and I think you can share it with me on Instagram as well. I'm still trying to figure out Instagram. I'm not sure I'm using it to its fullest capacity yet, but I'm working on it. Okay. So now I'm going to add a dark one. So I'm going to use orange.com. Yes, that is a color name. I don't know if you can see it. Orange.com. I love Summer Bruckfuner's colors names. So I'm going to put this towards the bottom of these little fans and drag that up. And I'm just going over it and making it really dark, really in the crack there. I'm still getting used to coloring, keeping the page still. Because when I color myself and I'm not on video, the book is turning all over with me. I don't know if you color like that too, but I turn the page. I'm not sure why. I think I like coloring in a certain direction. So when I'm on camera, having to keep the paper still and not turn it around is a little bit of a challenge for me, but I'm getting better at it. The more of these color alongs I do. And if you know I have a particular book and you'd like to see me do a color along for a certain page or just in a book, love for you to let me know. I love to get ideas. Okay. So now I'm going to get orange popsicle, which I would say is kind of like a vermilion orange. A little bit darker, but not as. And I'm going to add that on top of the orange.com. I love that color name. In this Profooner set, there are so many really cool color names. When I did the blue page, when I did the blue crab, there were some really cool blue names as well. And I will be blending these. Oh, I'm really liking how that looks so far. Looks really, really pretty. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do one more color. So this one is called Bright Marigold. So this is getting into more of a yellowy orange. I'm gonna add this color on top of what I just did. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to add a very, very light orange. So this one is called Banana Cream. I'm not really sure if this is more of a yellow, but it kind of has a little orange tinge. And I'm gonna add this on the tips or on the tops of these little petals. Not sure what exactly they are. Okay. And now I'm going to take some white. This is actually a Prismacolor white. And no, actually I think I'm gonna blend first. So let me blend all of this first. I'm lightly blending. I'm not going too hard with it. I'm blending mostly the bottom, but I'm doing a little bit on the tips just to make sure that's nice and blended. So before I add my white, I'm gonna come back in and add a little bit more of that darkest color. This is the orange.com. I'm gonna add that back in the very bottom of each of these. The blending just took out some of that. I just wanna put it back in. Okay, just a little bit. All right, great. So now I'm going to add white. Below the very top and right above where the 3 blended colors were. It's subtle, but it adds a little bit of lightness to it. And it allows you to blend a little bit more too. Using a white colored pencil is one method for blending. I only use it in certain circumstances or in certain areas because it does lighten. So if you don't necessarily want what you're doing to be lighter, using a white colored pencil to blend isn't the way to go. But if you do want to lighten, it's perfect for that. Okay. Very, very subtle. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to take Vibrant Orange, which is kind of a darker orange, and I'm gonna go along these lines here to add a little bit of dimension. Now again, because I already blended, because I already used the blender, it's not allowing me to put a whole lot of color on, which is good. I'm just adding just a touch to give a little separation between these little petals. You could do them with gray for shadow if you wanted. I was sort of thinking of that, but the area is so small. The space is so small. And I just thought maybe the gray would be too much. So that's why I'm doing it with the orange. But you definitely could do it with gray. Oh, I love those. So I'm just gonna bring this up so you can see the petals of both the orange and the wheat a little bit closer up. Really, really like how they turned out. So now I'm going to do browns on the border of these the little fans or flowers. So okay, just want to pick a nice brown for the base, something a little golden. All right, so I'm going to use Butter Rum. I know this color. I use this color a lot for hair when I want to make either blonde hair or reddish hair. So I'm just going to do an all over base color. I just felt like this page really lended itself well to fall colors, but I could totally see it in greens and blues as well. I think that would look really lovely. And I think the little guy, you could do him in grays rather than browns. And that could lead you to a different color scheme as well. So this is my first fall Halloween color along. I'll probably do at least one more. I'm hoping to do two. I want to do a page from a book I have by Molly Harrison, which is Autumn, Fall, and Halloween. I want to do that one. And then I definitely want to do a Beauty of Horror color along. I have not done a color along from one of those books yet. And I really, really love them, so I want to do that. It's just a matter of choosing which page. A lot of the pages from his books are either finished or are works in progress. So I think I'm going to have a limited choice of clean, fresh page to do. I got to start looking through those books and seeing which one I want to do for the color along. Again, if you have any suggestions for me on what page I could do for a color along, I would love that. I also just bought an Etsy page from Sarah Richter that I'm thinking of doing a color along for as well. It's a Bride of Frankenstein page, and I think that would be absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to use gingerbread, and I'm going to go with the gingerbread around the bottom edges of this border. I would say gingerbread is kind of it's a brown. It has a little bit of reddish tone to it, but it's definitely a brown. So I just took a little break. I am sitting at my dining table. It's where I do all of my videos because I have the setup on this table, and it faces a set of patio doors. And all of a sudden I look up and I see this bee on the window just sitting there, and I almost let it go. I almost thought, oh, that must be outside. But I do not like bees. I am very scared of them. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna check. So I stopped the video. I went up to the door. I got a slipper and I just banged the slipper right on top of where the bee was, and lo and behold, it was inside. And I was kind of freaked out by that. I had not seen anything flying. I hadn't seen a bee before. I have no idea where that came from. When I started doing this video, and I did a video previous to this one, which is either already posted or will be posted soon, I didn't see anything on there. I definitely would have noticed a bee sitting on the glass. So it kind of freaks me out that I've been sitting here for a while and didn't know that I was sharing accommodations with a bee. I'm probably going to be freaked out for a while. And it's also really strange because Finn did not see it. Finn usually sees everything. If occasionally there's a fly that gets inside or something else, some other type of bug, he always sees it. And if he doesn't get it, he at least alerts me so that way I can go and finish it off, so to speak. And he was laying right below, right in front of the doors, right below me, and he did not see it. That really freaks me out. Where did that guy come from? And now I'm worried that there's more. So I really hope that there's not, because that's really going to freak me out. So now I'm taking a darker shade. This is rawhide, and I'm going to go on the ends along the top with the rawhide. Actually, okay, this is not dark enough. I need a darker one. Let me see if this one's darker. Yeah, okay. So I switched out the rawhide for kangaroo. So this is a darker brown. I'm really trying to stop thinking about that bee, and I can't. All I'm thinking of is, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I caught it. And I'm trying to think of how it got in. Those doors have not been opened in a few days, so I'm not sure how that guy got in. The unknown just drives me crazy. All right, so this is looking good. It is a little bit lighter, I must say, than what I was thinking of. But actually that's okay, because now I can go darker on some other parts. So I'm actually okay with that. So now I'm just gonna take a really light one. So this is maple sugar. This almost has a little bit of pink to it. Just sharpening that real quick. And I'm just gonna rub a little bit in the center of this little border. Just to give a little bit of a different color. I'm not being exact, I'm just kind of putting it on there. Okay. So I think around the little mouse, I want it to be a very dark brown. So all right, I'm just trying to locate the shade I want. Oops, sorry about the bump. Okay, found it. All right, so I'm using shaved chocolate, and I'm going to color this little circle around our little mouse friend. So I'm using medium pressure. I'm going to add some other colors into it as well, but I want this to be the foundation and to really have most of it, have most of the white filled in with this shade. Now I was thinking of kind of doing it flower-like because this also almost looks like a flower, but I decided not to. I think you definitely could. I think it would look really cool. Like I could see it sort of looking like a sunflower, maybe being yellow, but I just decided to do the brown. I really like this color. It really does look like shaved chocolate. Okay. Just gonna give this a little bit of a sharpen. Pretty sharp, but another thing I like about oil pencils is that they keep their point for much longer than wax-based. so you sharpen them less. I really like that. And these Profuners are still pretty, a lot of oil-based pencils are really hard, but these are not. These are relatively soft. They're very blendable. They're easy to color with. I'm trying to get good saturation of color, and I'm putting down like medium to hard pressure. Not super hard, but harder than I was on this part here. So I want it to be a little bit darker towards the center and then get a little bit lighter. So all right, just going over this again to make sure it's dark enough, exactly the way I want it. Okay. So now I'm going to add some Tempest to it. This is sort of a grayish brown, and I'm just sort of adding it just in random places. I'll add a little bit on the inside too. And then I'm also taking another kind of dark brown. This is called Fudgesicle. Sorry, just had to give it a quick sharpen. Look how sharp that gets. I have an AFMAT sharpener. It's amazing. So nice. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this color. Now I'm not gonna blend this because I want it to look a little rough. I want it to look like dirt. I'm just adding a little bit in the center, right? And now I'm gonna add one more color on top of that. Andorra. Which is another dark brown. Okay, so I think for these, I'm gonna do brown. I'm just gonna color them a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna use umber. So it's a little bit reddish, has a little reddish tone in it. I'm using like medium pressure because I want it to be pretty saturated. I want the color and I want most of the white to disappear with this color. All right. And I am trying to use different shades, so I'm not repeating any shades. So every time I use a color, I'm putting it to the side. So I'm trying to use as many different shades as I can. So now I've pulled out Mink, which is a nice brown color. And I'm just gonna color that in. And I'm just going to add one more color to that, and that is Sugar Almond. This is probably the shortest pencil, the shortest Brotfuner pencil I have. I've used this color a lot. I think I use this in hair. Okay. And this one I'm adding in kind of little clumps to make it stand out a little bit, give a little bit more differentiation of color in different places. So let me show you that close up, how that turned out. I like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to do these. Let me think. Okay, I think maybe I should do the background first before moving on to anything else. So I think I'm going to continue with the kangaroo. And I'm going to do the whole background of the circle. So I'm going to fill in all the background space of the rest of the circle with this very dark brown. So this is the same brown that I used in here. I didn't think I was going to do that, but I really like that color, and I do want it to be dark. So I am using sort of heavy pressure. I want this to be dark. I want it to definitely stand out from the browns on this border here. So I'm definitely applying some pressure. I will add some other browns to it just to give a little bit of tonal variation once I finish, but I do want it to be pretty opaque and pretty saturated when I start. So I'm using good pressure so I can really fill in all the white. I think this would also look good too as a gradient. So already started with really dark in here and then gradually getting lighter as you come out. I think that could be something that would look really cool with this as well. So now that we're getting into the Halloween season, are you a Halloween fan? Do you like Halloween? For me, I find that this is going to sound a little weird maybe. I'm not too much into the actual holiday of Halloween. Even as a kid, I really didn't like trick-or-treating. I mean, I liked getting the candy, but I really didn't like dressing up. I didn't want to get gory or put on, you know, weird makeup or anything. I would go as things like a detective. One year I actually went as a detective. I wore my dad's fedora and his raincoat, and I was a detective. I wanted to go as characters that didn't require any makeup or really doing anything at all. So I'm not really into Halloween itself. However, I am into Halloween decorating. I have quite a few decorations. My mom passed away almost 3 years ago, and she loved decorating for every holiday. So she had a lot of stuff. And luckily, my sister is not big into decorating. So I pretty much got to keep whatever decorations I wanted that my mom had. So she had some really, really cute Halloween decorations that I use. I try to keep it more fall though, because in that way I can keep everything out pretty much till I decorate for Christmas sometime in November. So I do like generic fall stuff better, but I do like Halloween decorating. I also like Halloween coloring. So I do have like the Beauty of Horror series. I have most of his books, not all, but most. I have the Molly Harrison book. I have a flip through of that book on the channel, or it will be coming soon. That's the video I made before this one. And I have a few other like gothic or sort of Halloween books. So I do like coloring Halloween. I also like journaling and using Halloween themed decorations and ephemera and things, papers and things for journaling. And I also really like making Halloween digital elements for my Etsy store. So I have Halloween papers, Halloween pockets. I'm working on, I made Halloween journal cards. So I really, really like designing with Halloween elements. So it's a little strange. I'm not totally into Halloween, but I like Halloween. I like the Halloween aesthetic. I like the pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and bats and all that stuff. I like that stuff. So now I'm starting on this middle section, and I'm gonna go around. If there's anything tedious, I will tend to go around it first, and then I'll fill in the rest. All right, so now we're getting into the really tedious coloring that I'm not a fan of. But I like the results, so I will do this tedious coloring to make sure it looks right. I don't really like Halloween movies. I'm not into scary horror movies or anything. What Halloween themed movies do you like? Love to know in the comments. Really, the only like sort of Halloween or freaky, scary movie I like is Rocky Horror. I am a big fan of Rocky Horror. Not to the extent that I, go to all the midnight viewings or dress up or anything like that, but I do really I like the movie and I like the musical. I just found on YouTube the official West End London recording of the musical from 2015. And it is a really good production. If you like Rocky Horror, that is a really, really good production of the musical. Really enjoyed it. The talent was amazing. The guy who plays Frankenfurter is just fantastic. The guy who plays Brad has a amazing voice. So really some good voice talents in that. You don't have to pay for it or anything. You can just view it. But it is professionally recorded and it's awesome. Not that I'm advocating watching bootlegs or anything, but if I find them and they're there, I watch them. I keep looking up at my sliding glass doors to make sure there's not another bee there. Yes, it is over half an hour later and it is still freaking me out. One of my favorite songs from that musical is Let's Do the Time Warp. I love that song. It's just a fun, silly, high energy, feel good song. But other than that, there's no real Halloween movies that I like. am liking how this is looking. I was a little concerned that the very dark brown would be not right, but actually I think it's looking great, and it really highlights the weed and the little, I'll just call them petals, the orange petals. So I really like how that's looking so far. So football is firmly on the way. I know I'm just rambling here. How is your favorite team doing? My team is now 1-0. They lost their season opener, which we were very, very upset about. Still not sure how it happened. I mean, I know how it happened. I know what the problem was, but still not sure how it happened. But they won handily on Sunday of this week. So we feel like we can just kind of forget that opening loss and just kind of pretend that it didn't happen and move on. Because they are a Super Bowl caliber team. Like I said in one of my recent videos, they've been close, they've been nearby, but they haven't gotten there yet. So we are really hoping that this year is their year. All right, I need to sharpen. Okay, yippee, almost done with this. I'm still deciding what color I want to color these. I have not narrowed it down yet, but I will. By the time I'm finished with this, I will have it. Luckily, I don't have a lot of choices, really. Okay. Great. So now I'm just going to add some sepia in some just various areas, mostly where it might be a little bit lighter. Maybe I didn't get as deep as color saturation. Just kind of adding this in. Okay. All right, so I think I'm gonna do these here. Yellow. So I'm gonna do them lighter yellow than the wheat. And then this part here, I'm gonna do darker orange. So I'm gonna start with a really light yellow. So this is custard. It's almost like a cream. And then I'm gonna come in with brighter yellow. Okay. I still want to keep it light though, so I am going to use, this is Aurora, which is a really pale yellow. I'm going around the lines here that separates the two petals, the three petals actually. And now I'm going to take, this one is called Pumpkin. So I'm just gonna do a little line, a little base of color along the bottom here of these in the pumpkin. It's a very, very light pale orangey. It's actually an odd color, I think, to have colored, to have named pumpkin, because it's not really pumpkin colored at all. And I'm just gonna take a really bright one. This is called Limelight. And I'm gonna do the little bottom, the little base of the top petal, just to give a little bit more bright yellow. And then I'm done with these. Okay. I'm going to take my gray and just very lightly go over the petal lines. I just feel like they need a little definition. Little shadow. Okay. Yeah, that helped. So let me show you that a little bit up close. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Now I'm gonna do these in darker orange. So I'm gonna start with a base of orange popsicle. I'm just filling in with some brown. I'm just noticing I didn't get right around the circle's edge very well with the brown on the little border here. So I'm just going around and just making sure I have nice brown. Okay, there we go. Went outside there a little bit. Okay. Surprised I haven't had to erase too much. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay. So now for these, I don't really have a wide range of colors, so probably will be repeating some colors. So I'm going to use the orange.com again and go over the lines, kind of. I'm just kind of drawing in the lines. Okay. And now I have orange rust, and I'm going to do that along the bottoms. Okay, I think I like that. I'm just going to add a little bit of white here in the middle. It'll help blend a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm just gonna come in with one more color. So, all right, I'm gonna try Salmon Pearl Orange. And just draw a few more lines in again. It's not gonna make a huge difference, but All right. Okay, and the inner circle is done. I am very pleased with it. I really like how it turned out. So now we get to the fun part, which is the background. So just putting away my brown pencils that I had sitting out all over my table. All right. So I am going to mix up my colors that I have. So I'm just gonna do them kind of haphazardly all over. So I'm gonna start with the lightest and then add, and then go back with the dark. So I'm starting with the gold, which is called Canary Almond. It's a iridescent. So I'm just laying down little blocks of color. So one thing I've learned about using gelatos is you want to get nice saturation of color. You want your, whatever you are, wherever you're putting the color on, you want it to be pretty saturated. You want a nice thick layer. So I'm just gonna go around, just add a little bit more, just make sure I have nice saturated areas here. You do want to work kind of fast, especially if you're using multiple colors like I am. So now I'm using the caramel. And you can overlap. You don't have to worry about you know, being, oh, I can't mix the colors. You totally can. That just gives it an even more cool look. Okay. So again, I'm just going around making sure that I've saturated my area as well. Okay. Now I'm doing the orange. All right. And last but not least, the chocolate brown. So with this last color, I'm just trying to fill in all the areas that I did not get with the other 3 colors. So I'm just trying to fill in. Okay. So now I have some brown craft paper that I'm going to put underneath. All right. And I'm just going to put a piece of paper here to cover this. And I'm going to do this inside part first. So that way then I can remove that paper. So all right. I'm using a pretty big brush. And now I'm just gonna with gelatos, you really want to work them. So you really want to go over them a lot with the brush. You want to break up all of that. I'm not sure if it's considered pigment or what it's considered, but you want to break it all up. I'm going to move that a little bit so I can get inside the crease. Okay. And my paper is getting pretty wet, which is okay because it will dry. It does dry. Okay, and I can definitely see some areas of weakness where I need to add some more gelato, but I kind of love this process. So it's kind of messy and free. You don't have to be exact. You just kind of go over it. Kind of just go. You don't have to worry about being neat or you just want to make sure you break up all of the solid gelato. If it looks like crayon anywhere, you want to break that up. because they do kind of look like crayons when you first put them down. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and then I will be back to finish the page. So this is pretty dry and I am going to now put more brown on it. So I want it to be a little bit darker. So that's why I did mostly the lighter colors first. So now I can add the brown on top and make it a little bit darker. So again, I'm just coloring on in random places. I don't want to cover up all the lighter colors, but overall I want the background to be darker. That way when I do the gold for the rest of the image, it should show up pretty well. Okay. So again, I'm going to take my water brush and spread this out. It's much easier when you already have a layer down. It's easier to spread and add more. When I use gelatos, I usually do at least 2 layers, if not more. Okay, I think I like that. I think I've got everything spread out pretty good. All right. And you can of course add more if you want. But I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna let it dry again, and then I'll come back and I'm gonna work on the circle. So everything is dry now. I really like this background. It's exactly how I envisioned that it would look. So now I am going to work on making the circle look more like a bubble and a little bit 3D. So I am taking my gray pencil and I'm just going to re-sketch the circle. So I'm just darkening it. Okay, so now you can really see the circle. So now I am going to take my gray pencil and I'm going to start shading a band around the circle. So you want to do this very, very lightly. I'll be going over this a couple of times because you just want to do it really light, and then you keep building up layers and building the color darker. And I'm using my pencil on the side so I don't get any harsh lines. I'm going to go around one more time. Now I'm going to go around the very edge and just make it a little darker. I'm going to take my blender and I'm just going to very lightly blend out the gray where the light orange areas are. Because in those areas, the gray shows up quite a bit. So I just want to blend that out a little bit. Now you could go around and blend the whole thing, but I don't really think that's necessary. I'm just doing these light areas. Okay. And now I'm going to come in a little bit more, very, very, very lightly with the gray. So we're just bringing up, or bringing in, I guess you could say, the gray, the shadow a little bit more. This does not have to be perfect. We're just creating the illusion of shadow to create the illusion of roundness. And so now I'm going to take my gel pen. I hope it works. I have a Posca if it doesn't. Actually, maybe I'll try the Posca first. Hopefully the Posca will work just great. Okay. Get some ink into that tip. So now I'm going to create, oh, hold on, my Posca's not working. Okay, there we go. All right. And then I'm going to create one over here. There we go. Now we got it working. Just gonna do another one right here. You can put in as many white lines areas as you would like. Sometimes I'll let it dry a bit and then I'll add a little bit more. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to start with the gold outlining. And I'm going to do that on a different clip so I can speed that up a little bit, because I think it's going to take a while, and I don't think you need to sit here and watch a half an hour of gold outlining. So that will be speeded up a little bit, and then I'll come back and join you when the page is done and finish up. Okay, hi everybody. So it's about a week later, and things didn't go exactly the way I thought they would or hoped with the rest of the color along. So I finished the page and I wanted to show it to you and walk through what happened. So here is the page, fully complete, and I absolutely love it. It turned out almost exactly the way I hoped and wanted it to. So originally I was going to do the outlining in gold, but the gold just wasn't showing up on this background. I think it probably was just not dark enough, and I didn't want to make the background too much darker. I really like how it looks now. I think it looks really fallish, and I didn't want it to become really dark like a nighttime background. So I decided to use white, and I started out recording the tracing, outlining of the rest of the design. But as I was doing it, it just was not working. The pens, I have 11 white gel pens, and it took me forever to find one that actually worked. Now I have 5 Uniball ones, and those are my favorite. And I found one of those that actually was working well on that particular day, and I was able to use that, but it didn't work great all the time. It was getting spotty. I was having to wipe it off. I was having to dab it on a piece of paper, and the video was just not what I needed it to be or what I wanted it to be. So I just went ahead and finished the page off camera. So I did a few additional things from when I last filmed to this. So on the circle, I added a little bit more gray. I darkened it up a lot because it really wasn't looking like a half circle or 3D to me. So I just added more gray, and I brought the gray up a little bit further into the center of the circle, or in to the center of the circle a little bit more. And then I added some more white gel pens. So I added a couple here, one here, and then some on the top, again, to give it more of a 3D domed look. And I think it looks much better to me. And then, of course, I did the white outlining of the rest of the mandala. This took me a long time. So I worked on this probably for half an hour across 4 or 5 days. And then I did have to go back and touch up some of the areas because, again, the gel pen didn't always work perfectly. So a couple things I learned about using gel pen, especially white. Press firmly. And I also learned not to go up and down. So for example, if I'm going over this line, not to go like this, to go in one direction. So just up or just down. I found that that worked much, much better. I also learned that if you feel like you need to go over a section, it didn't turn out really well, or the lines aren't dark enough, wait until it dries and then go back. Because if it's not dry, you just wind up taking it off. So that was really frustrating for me because that happened a lot. But again, I finally finished the page and I'm really happy with it. I hope that you enjoyed this color along, and if you did color this page or you did another page, I would love to see what you did. You can join my Facebook group. It's a private group, so no crazies or spam or anything like that. Or you can post it on my Instagram. That's Crafts by KMW as well. Or I think you can post it in the community tab here on YouTube. So I would love to see what you do. And I will be having some more fall Halloween color alongs coming up within the next few weeks and across the month of October. So if you like those, look out for those. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful and very crafty day.